Hello everyone and welcome to Study IQ English. I'm Joycey Joy and today we are going to discuss the chapter Industry and Infrastructure from the Economic Survey 2021-22. This is the third part of this chapter and the last part of this chapter. If you have missed the previous videos, please do watch the previous videos as well. So getting started, we have already seen the overview of this chapter. Index of Industrial Production or the IIP has been discussed already. Then we also discussed about foreign direct investment in industries, performance of CPSE, Central Public Sector Enterprises. Then we have started with the sector-wise performance and issues in the industry. We have discussed about the steel sector, coal sector, MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises, then also the textile sector. Electronics industry has been discussed, then Parak scheme has been discussed. Pharmaceuticals also we have discussed. Then we discussed two very important infrastructural projects of the government. One is National Infrastructure Pipeline NIP and the National Monetization Pipeline NMP. This has also been discussed. Next we are coming to road transportation. Before we come into the transportation sector, one of the important things that we need to discuss is the PM Gati Shakti Yojana. Because PM Gati Shakti Yojana has been given so much of importance and focus in the Union Budget of 2022-23 and this has been highlighted as a flagship program of the Government of India. So, for that reason, we need to understand the transportation sector in very detail. Coming to the road transport, the road network of the country is 63.71 lakh kilometers. So, this is the road network of the country. And this is the second largest in the world after the United States. Now, this is very important to remember that we have the second largest road network in the world after United States, which is considered to be a very highly developed country. Okay. Second largest road network in the world. Now, the significant upturn in road construction in 2020-21 due to increase in public expenditure. So, there was a significant increase in the road construction in the year 2020-21 during this financial year, and the biggest recent push factor is the increase in public expenditure or the government expenditure. Government has spent more money in the construction of roads in the financial year 2020-21. Measures to address village level road network through Gram Sadak Yojana. We know that Gram Sadak Yojana is a very old scheme and this has been introduced to increase the connectivity in villages. That is village road connectivity. Gram, it is village, Sadak is road. So, the Gram Sadak Yojana still exists, even though it's an old scheme, it still exists and Gram Sadak Yojana has contributed heavily towards the construction of roads in rural areas. Coming to railways, the third largest network in the world under the single management and with over 68,102 route kilometers. So, with regard to railways, we have the third largest network connection, that is railway network connection in the world. So, India has a rank of 3 and that too within single management. We know that railways, Indian Railways is still a monopoly of the Government of India. Okay, so railway is under the single management of the Government of India. So, third largest network in the world under single management and the coverage is more than 68,102 route kilometers. This is the coverage. Okay. Indigenous new technology such as Kavach, then Vande Bharat trains and redevelopment of stations has all been adopted in order to improve the railway connectivity and the overall rail sector in India. Indigenous new technology that has been developed within the country, that is indigenous technology like the Kavach technology. Vande Bharat trains are special trains which provide good quality services, Vande Bharat, and also the speed of the trains are also very high. Vande Bharat trains and redevelopment of stations. The station infrastructure is also being redeveloped in order to give a boost to the rail sector in India. IR or Indian Railway has operated 1,841 Kisan Rail services to strengthen the agricultural sector, and this is very much remarkable that the Kisan Rail services has helped the country to contain food inflation during the COVID times. And we have already discussed in the agricultural module and also in State of Indian Economy that agricultural sector was the least impacted sector during the pandemic, and the major reason for this being that the government has taken whatever possible measures in order to ensure that the food inflation does not go beyond a particular level, especially during the COVID, because food inflation can affect everyone and especially the marginalized and the poor more because of their lesser purchasing power or their utility is more. Okay, so 1,841 Kisan Rail services were introduced to strengthen the agricultural sector, especially agricultural marketing. Targeting for 100% electrification of its network by December 2023. Government is targeting to electrify 100% of rail networks by the end of 2023. That is by December 2023. National Railway Plan has also been launched. It's a comprehensive plan covering all the major areas or addressing the major issues in the railway sector. Then coming to civil aviation. Civil aviation, one of the fastest growing aviation markets in the world, is provided by India. So, this is because of its population size. Because of the population size of the country, the aviation, civil aviation sector of India is also growing very fast. And in order to increase its leverage, that is increase maximum utility or utilization of air services or civil aviation services, the government has to reduce the airfare. So, government has to reduce the airfare, and for that many schemes like the Udhan scheme were launched. Udhan is Udhe Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So, such kind of schemes were launched in order to ensure that airfare becomes affordable for everyone, and this can help in leveraging the capacity of the civil aviation market. Next is disinvestment of Air India. We know that Air India was a government-owned aviation or air company. So, disinvestment of Air India is not just important from the perspective of disinvestment or bringing revenues for the government, but it is also important or significant from the perspective that government is privatizing a very strategic sector like civil aviation or airways. So, this is also important that government is completely moving out of the civil aviation sector and trying to completely privatize it in order to increase its efficiency and profitability. We also know that Air India was once private, which was nationalized later. Okay, considering that, this is a significant move of giving a signal that government is trying to privatize maximum. Then, boost to regional connectivity scheme Udhan. I have already explained what is Udhan. Udhan is a connectivity scheme which aims to provide low-cost air connectivity to everyone. So, Udhan, the full form is Udhe Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. Government has also liberalized drone rules of 2021 on and released the PLI scheme for drones. PLI is Production Linked Incentive Scheme. So, PLI scheme has been launched for drones. Next is privatization of airports. So, this is also a measure towards releasing or easing the government restriction. Coming to the ports, Indian fleet is just 1.2% of world's fleet in terms of capacity and carries only 7.8% of India's EXIM trade. Okay. Sagarmala project. Now coming to Sagarmala project, we know that Sagarmala project is very significant in the sense that it tries to improve the port infrastructure of the country. So, improve the port infrastructure. The Major Port Authorities Act of 2021 has also been launched. Then Maritime India Vision of 2030. These are all important government initiatives or schemes with regard to ports in India. Next is Inland Waterways. Inland Vessels Act of 2021 replaced over 100 years old Inland Vessels Act of 1917. So, earlier we had a very age-old act or a legislature in place, that is Inland Vessels Act of 1917. It has been replaced by Inland Vessels Act of 2021. Augmentation in navigation capacity of National Waterway 1 through the Jal Marg Vikas project. Construction of multi-modal terminals at Varanasi and Sahibganj. So, multi-modal terminals at Varanasi and Sahibganj. Remember the names or the places, location you have to remember. Then Jal Marg Vikas project, augmenting navigation capacity of National Waterway 1. And remember National Waterway 1, which are the places it connects. Okay, earlier in 2014 a question was asked in prelims exam, so you have to remember that. Connecting pillars of India, PM Gati Shakti. As we said, it's a multi-modal logistics project, or it's a multi-modal project which tries to improve infrastructure in multiple modes of transportation like railway, road, then sea, etc. And the overall purpose is to improve the logistics of the country. That is PM Gati Shakti. It's an integrated plan ensuring multi-modal and seamless connectivity for people, goods and services. So multimodal because different modes of transportation are there. Seamless connectivity without any hindrance. So if suppose a good has to be transported to a port, but different modes are to be needed like railway, then roadway, then finally port, there should not be any hindrance one after the other. So that is seamlessness. It covers 16 ministries of and infrastructure like Bharatmala, Sagarmala, inland waterways, dryland ports, Udaan, etc. It aims to improve connectivity and make Indian businesses more competitive. So, it will improve the ease of doing business, it will improve the connectivity, etc. It seeks to leverage technology extensively, including spatial planning tools with ISRO imagery. Next is telecom. India is the world's second largest telecommunications market. So, rank of India is second. Under the flagship BharatNet project as on 27/9/2021, 5.46 lakh kilometer optical fiber cable has been laid. So BharatNet project tries to increase the internet penetration of the country, especially to the rural areas. Comprehensive Telecom Development Plan for Northeastern region and Comprehensive Telecom Development Plan for islands where the connectivity is less. Northeast and the islands are less connected areas, and to improve the connectivity, plans are developed. These are the important reforms taken place in the telecom sector. Coming to the reforms, rationalization of adjusted gross revenue. In future auctions, tenure of spectrum increased from 20 to 30 years. That is longer term of spectrum. No spectrum usage charge for spectrum acquired in future spectrum auctions. So, in future, no spectrum charge. Then, this is very important, 100% FDI or foreign direct investment allowed in the telecom sector under automatic route without a government approval. Ease of doing business promoted. Self-KYC, app-based self-KYC is permitted. That is to reduce the hindrances and the procedures. Coming to petroleum, crude and natural gas, India depends on imports to meet more than 80% of its requirements. Another initiative is Lakshya Bharat portal. You have to keep this in mind. We will be discussing about this in detail when we discuss about the schemes. Certain things I have not explained here, which we will take up separately. The second phase of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Ujjwala 2 has been launched. Ujjwala Yojana, the purpose is to provide LPG connections. Free LPG connections to BPL households. National Gas Grid to provide natural gas pipeline network across the country. Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga, it's a pipeline project. It's a 2,655 kilometer long Jagdishpur to Haldia, then from Bokaro to Dhamra gas pipeline project. Next is Northeast Gas Grid and City Gas Distribution Network. Next is electricity. The total installed power capacity and captive power plant was 459.15 gigawatts in 2021. Thermal sources of energy make up the largest. This is important. Thermal energy is the largest contributor towards electricity. It accounts for 61.42% of total share of installed capacity. Second is renewable energy, 24.7%, and third is hydro. You have to remember at least the first three. First is thermal, followed by renewable energy, and third is hydropower. Energy losses in transmission and distribution during the year 2019-20 was at 20.46% for all India, which was the highest for northeastern region. Within India, highest transmission losses were for northeastern region. Here, I think the most important thing you should remember is the percentage contribution. First is thermal, second one is renewable, and third is hydro. So this is renewable energy, solar, wind, biomass, and small hydro energy. Renewable energy excluding large hydro constitutes 24.71% of country's installed power capacity. India's total renewable energy installed capacity excluding hydropower above 25 megawatt has reached over 103.05 gigawatt. Then green energy corridor we'll be discussing separately. So this percentage also you should remember. You should remember that it's all around 1/4 of India's total energy requirements is contributed by the renewable energy sector. So that's it with regard to the 8th chapter of economic survey. We'll be continuing the discussion with the next chapter. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you all the very best.